Welcome to our weekly Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha's Teitzei. The question of the week is, how can we overcome our spiritual enemies? So this week's Torah portion begins and it says, Teitzei la milchama alivecha. When you go out to war on your enemies. So the question is, who's our enemy? And B, the Torah says, alivecha, on top of your enemy. You go out with your enemy, against your enemy. What does it mean on top of your enemy? And the verse continues on to say, V'shavisha shivya, you're going to take captive. How do we know we're going to take captive? So the Rabbi explains this week's the Torah portion based on a spiritual level. And he says as follows. Who is our enemy? Our enemy is our Yetzer Hara. He's stopping us, he's trying to stop us from having a relationship with Hashem. Or, on a global level, anyone that's stopping us from having a relationship with Hashem and a godly relationship and allowing us to live a godly life is considered an enemy of Hashem. So what happens is, when you have an enemy that's trying to stop you from having a great relationship with Hashem, comes the Torah, and the Torah says, Teitzei la milchama. When you go out to war against the enemy that's trying to pull you away from Hashem, you should know, alivecha, you have the upper hand. You're stronger than your enemy. You can overcome your enemy. And if the Torah says, V'shavisha shivya, you're going to take captive. What does that mean? The enemy has really no power. The only thing that he has, he took from someone else. But the enemy is not real. Hashem is real. The enemy is not real. And by knowing that Hashem is real and the enemy is not real, that gives us the power to overcome the enemy. So to answer the question, where do we have the power to overcome our spiritual enemies? By knowing that we have the power to overcome it because the Torah tells us. And to know it's real is Hashem, and anything opposite Hashem, anything fighting Hashem is not real. And that will give us the power to overcome any struggle we have in our life. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel bas Lipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah we're studying in their memory. For more information, please see our website, ChabadSWF.org. Thanks so much for joining us. And again, it's a real treat and pleasure and schus to be able to record our recordings right here from Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh across the Har HaBayis, where the two temples stood, and where God willing, the third temple is going to be there very, very soon. Have a great and blessed week.